Hi guys, my name is Purti Chawla. I'm the manager here at Ielts at Leverage Edu. Thank you so much for joining this session today. We are talking about one aspect, one module of Ielts, which is reading. And we have a very interesting activity prepared for you and some fantastic specific tips and looking at one targeted question, which is bound to come in your reading section. And I'm sure a lot of you face an issue with it, which is true, false, not given. So that's what we are going to look into. Just to start off with the session. So I am here for you for IELTS and as part of the Leverage family. But apart from this, we also are into counseling and helping students with admissions. So in case you feel that you're kind of lost right now and you don't know where to start your prep, so definitely you can contact us and we'd help you with your admission services and all the countries or the courses that you would fare well in. And in case you have already an idea of where you're planning to go or what course you want to take, so then we also help you with the application and to various universities, where and how you'd apply. And of course, the head coaches would be there to do that with you. And in case of deadlines, or once your application is submitted and you get selected, so then they're going for accommodation and loans and scholarships as well. And a part of your entire application is also test prep. So the language proficiency that you have to prove to your colleges or universities, whether you're going to UK or Canada or US or any native English speaking country, you'd have to prove that to them as well. So we also help you with that. So today, one part of it, one part of IELTS is reading, and that's what we'll talk about. So the first thing is about reading, that the first section, the first passage that you get is slightly more difficult than the last one. It's not the case. So the answer is no. It's actually the other way around. So the last section, the third passage that you're getting, is most challenging because higher vocabulary, more words, more number of questions that you'd have to answer. So by knowing this fact, you'd also be able to manage your time better, because time management is a big issue in reading and a lot of students find it challenging and problematic. So always start with the first section and just be done with it quickly, so that you can give more time and more focus to the last section, which actually demands it. And there's never an exception. The last section will always be the most problematic area of the test. So if you know that, you'd be able to strategize better. The next thing is, can you switch between the reading sections? So from part 1, can you go to part 3 and then come back to 2, or any other order that you want to follow? And the answer is yes. So it's, you have 1 hour to do everything. And they don't, even though they do recommend 20 minutes per section for the 3 parts, but they don't kind of give you a strict bifurcation in between the passages. You want to spend 30 minutes on one, 15 on the other. You want to spend 10 minutes on the first one and the rest of it on the other. You want to try some and then come back to it later, you can do that. So it is seamless in between. You can move around, no issues with that. Okay, so then can I use the time from one reading section to another? So like I said, it's on you, whatever time you want to take. So yes, if you finish answers to one quickly, you move over. In fact, use the time from the first section, save it so that you can use it for the last one. Greatly affects your confidence and your time management as well. Okay, let's see. Do you get extra time to transfer your answers? No, there is no extra time. In listening, you get that. So if you are planning for the paper-based test, you're going to get 10 minutes to transfer the answers from your question paper to the sheet which they provide you. And in reading, that is not the case. So whether you go for the computer-based test or the paper-based test, it's all the same. 1 hour is all you get for locating and marking your answer. So after every section, so let's say I'm done with passage 1, which is where I'm getting 13 questions. I always recommend that you transfer these answers into the answer sheet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And suppose, out of 13, let's say number 10 or number 12, these are the two questions you weren't able to find. So you can just leave them blank on the sheet. So, by the end of your test, you'd also be able to see, okay, this is where I've left it blank. So I have to go back and answer the question. So it's always a great idea after every section to transfer so that you're not putting all the pressure right there in the end. All right, the next thing is, should we attempt all the questions or the ones we know of? So of course, by the end of it all, it's always recommended that you answer all 40 answers because one, there is no negative marking and only then you'd be able to get to a better band. However, in the first go, when you're marking your answers, don't waste your time in looking for answers which you're not able to get. Always do the ones you're getting first in one go. And if there's a question or some questions that you have to go back to, do that later instead of wasting your time in the beginning. So like I said, if question number 10 or 12 is something that you're not getting in the first go, probably a couple of seconds or 1 minute at max, you can spend more on it, but don't devote a lot of time, don't waste rather a lot of time in hovering around that question, because then that adds to your anxiety and to your nerves, and you will get less time for the next questions. So always do the ones you're getting in the first go. Then the next part is spelling important? Definitely. So they are checking you on your spelling and grammar as well. But in reading, from the grammar aspect of it, it is very straightforward. You only have to pick the, answers right there from the passage. If it is given to you in plural, you write that. If it is given to you, let's say in continuous ing word, you just pick, copy, paste. But, while you're copying, pasting, you have to be aware and sure that you are not making a spelling error, because they will cut marks for it. Even, sometimes when people go for the paper-based test and while writing, despite the fact that you might have written the correct spelling, but because of word formation, probably A or E or R and N or U and N's for some people could be problematic, could look the same, that also can be penalized by the examiner if there's something which is not clear, which is not legible to the examiner. So hence, it is always recommended that you write in block letters, which is also one of the questions that we do. So do I have to write the answers in capital letters? So yes, that is recommended to you. Now, before that, true, false, not given questions, like I said, very common question that you're definitely getting. The answers, they come in order, they come in sequence. So one after the other. I'm getting the first answer first, then second, then third, so on and so forth. This, always helps you to not get lost, and you are able to save your time because you know where your answers could be. So when you're doing the reading section, always be aware of the fact that these are the answers which I'm getting in sequence, and these are the ones which I'm not getting in sequence. So if you are aware of this thing, you will be able to save tons of time. And of course, we do that, we learn that in the classes as well, which we provide, and I talk about it. But for true, false, not given questions, yes, the answers are in sequence, so you follow the same thing. Now, for certain questions, the answer come in sequence. For others, it's not, but it will be all from the passage, and you have to continue from the previous one. Don't digress. Follow the sequence of all the question, not just per question as well. And of course, writing the answers in capital letters, just to make sure that you're not creating any confusion for your checker, for your examiner. Even in the computer-based test, you can type in block or all caps. So all you need to do is just, keep the caps lock on. Then the next part is, can I write the question in sheets? Well, yes, you can. It's always better if you highlight it, probably underline it. In the computer-based test also, you can do that. But definitely, highlighting stuff or marking it makes it easier for you to get to your answer. So you can write it on the question sheet And because anyway, you will get a separate sheet to transfer your answers. So that is there. Another question is, can I write just TFNG instead of true, false, not given? So now there's no strict guideline around it, but just to save yourself from that risk, always write the full word instead of going for TFNG. And even while writing true, false, not given, ensure that your spellings are correct here as well. So true, if you write TREU, they'll cut your marks for it. So very carefully putting down your answers for grammar, vocabulary, spelling, everything. Should we include articles in our answers? Now, articles, and the, are considered a separate word. So when they have instructed you that you can write your answer, let's say in one word only, if you write, let's say, a book, instead of just saying book, that will cut down on your score. So you'll get a 0 for it. You'll not even get a 0.5. There's no 0.5. So don't write articles unless it is specified. So in case the word limit, the instruction tell you that you can write, let's say, 2 words or more than 3 words or something like that, then it is still valid. But if it is 1 word answers, so then only go for the main subject or the noun, no articles. Another question is it possible for you to underline keywords in the computer-based test? With paper-based, you just underline with a pencil. Can you also highlight on the computer-based test? So yes, whatever you want to select, either on the questions or on the passage text part, you just have to select that area, right-click on it. The first option that you get is for highlighting, and the next option is for notes. So if you select highlight, whatever part you have selected will turn yellow. So you can also highlight things on the computer-based test, although it's a bit of a process, a bit of a hassle to do this instead of just simply underlining. But which is why for those who are going for the computer-based test, it is always recommended that you try highlighting things in your mind instead of doing this practice. But there's still an option. Now, a very common question that students ask me is that, because it's all about identifying keywords and getting your answers from there. So can you search for those words using this option, Control F? But no, you can't do that. So even spell check, Grammarly, all of these options are not available on your computers because you're not using, you're not carrying your own laptops there. So you would have to go to the test center and use their desktops. So of course they've blocked this option, but you can use Control C and V for copy pasting. So those of you who are going for the computer delivered test, in order to avoid any spelling error or typing error typos, you can pick up the word from the text and just copy paste. That you can do, but not any other way. Yes, you can also, like they said in the question, look at the clock. So yes, you can go back and check the time. Of course, keep a constant check on your time so that you don't end up wasting it. Best way to prepare for it, of course, is to understand how to go about doing it, what are the tips and the strategies and do's and don'ts around the reading section, and then practice, not just with the official books, but otherwise also I'd recommend that you develop the habit of reading, either just skimming through the newspapers or blogs or articles or things, online content. I'm not just saying, hefty books or something, but in case you don't already have an idea about, or you don't already read a bit, I'd strongly recommend, because you are able to hone your reading skills because of it. So skimming, scanning, just moving your eyes through, reading for gist, reading for specific details, all of this help you immensely in your reading section. And that's how you will be able to improve and get a better score for reading. So how much can you or should you read? Of course, it is dependent on you individually, but at least a couple of things, 15, 20 minutes every day, you should spend on reading whatever you want to. So here is something that I would want you to keep a good eye on. So Leverage Live is also providing you with these classes to help you, not just with honing your reading skills, but all the 4 modules of IELTS. And these are all the things that you would get access to once you enroll with us. And because all of you are here, I have also prepared giveaway, like I mentioned before, which is a discount that I'm preparing. So 60% discount on all these classes. And in case you want to know more about it, you can also give us a call. So there are these morning batches and evening batches, which are regular courses, 4 or 6 weeks. So you'd be with a trainer who would guide you through all the 4 sections and help with vocabulary, answers, samples, what you're doing right and wrong. And specifically for you, personalized guidance, not just in general, this is what everybody's doing right or wrong. So that's really important, specifically when it comes to, reading, speaking, and writing, because you don't know how to get about it. And there's a very strict structure and there's a very specific way in which they're asking you to write your answers. So these are live classes like we'd have here. You'd also get the option, of course, to get recorded sessions. So even after the course is over, you can get back to the recordings and get back to the trainer with your doubts and confusions. And all right, so one question very quickly that I'm coming to, which is a very common one in reading and a problematic area again for students, is true, false, not given. So now this is where you get certain statements and you have to mark these statements as true, false, or not. So first thing, of course, is to understand, that what do these terms mean? So how do I mark the answer as true, false, or not true? So if whatever question they've given you, the same information is there in the passage, you will mark it as true. If opposite or contradictory information is there, then you'll mark it as false. So that means that, whatever the question they've asked me does not agree with the information in the passage. And very simply, if there's something which is not there in the passage, I mark it as not given. So just keeping this core idea in mind, same meaning true, contradictory meaning or opposite meaning, that's false. And if something is missing, that's not given. Now, a problem with this question is, or rather with the entire reading part, is everything is given to us as paraphrases or synonyms, right? So what mistake, error that we make is that we always kind of look for the same word or entirely the same idea. So the problem is that you're looking for the same word, which is not the right approach. So what you need to remember is that you are looking for the same idea, the same meaning, but not the same words. So if you just keep this in mind, you'd never be able to get this wrong. And another common and a big mistake that students make is that they only look for certain keywords and they try to compare and mark their answer. The keywords will always tell you where the answer is, but what the answer is not from the keywords, but rather the full sentence. So when you get to the area where your keywords are, then you compare the statement from the text or from the passage with the entire question given to you. If everything is matching, then it's true. If something is contradictory, then it's false. And if something is missing, that's not given. So not the entire thing, even if some part is missing. And on top of this, they also give you certain trap words like every, all, few. So for instance, in my question, they've given me all the people felt cold in a certain area. And in the text, they've given me most of them felt cold. So that is not the same thing. So these are the words which I have to be aware of. And so quantifiers. And then there are these words which are opinions. So people believing. So if I say that, this area is the 8th wonder of the world, if in the question it is given to me, it is the 8th wonder. So that means it is to, given to me as a fact. But if in the text, I've been given people believed it or claimed that it was the 8th wonder of the world. So it's not the same thing. So which is why when you have to compare or when you're comparing two things, don't just look at for the keywords, but rather the entire sentence. Okay, so you are matching meaning, not words. So always be prepared for synonyms and the fact that these answers are in sequence. So very quickly, just taking this example or sample, and now I've included a couple of questions here, not all. So let's look at the first one. They are saying the Falkirk wheel has linked dash and dash with the Union Canals by these words for the first time in their history. Now, this is again a word which I have to be on alert for. First time because they've specified it. So now when I go back to the passage, all I have to do is look for these words. So these are my keywords. And because they are proper nouns, I'd be able to find them quickly as compared to other words. So all I need to do is start from the beginning because this is my first answer. And I look for these words. The next step is to understand whether there's this connection at all. If it is there, then my answer would either be true or false. If it is not there, not given. Then if it is there, whether it's the first time or it has been done previously as well, or second time or something like that. And that's how I'll mark my answer. So going back to the previous slide, let's see. Okay, so I start from the top. I'm going to look for the word canal and Clyde. So that's where I know probably my answer is going to be. So then I see whether the linking is done for the first time or before has been done or not. Always remembering this fact. So whether it's the first time or not. So I think, yeah. Okay, so actually the answer is false. It is given, isn't it, that they are being connected, but reconnecting. So that means it has been done before. Not the first time, so it's not true. Not given because it is given. So then we need to find out whether first time or not. So which is why when they say reconnecting, that means it has been done earlier as well. And if you go on looking at it further, because again, you have these names. So then they say historically, they had been joined. So the answer here is false, yeah, because I have contradictory information. Now, because I found my first answer here, the next ones will be after it, and then after it, and after it, because they are in order. Now, another way in which ordering helps is this. So for instance, now that I found my first answer here, suppose, I go through the text, but I'm not able to get my second answer, because everything is paraphrased, I'm not getting my keywords. And my third answer, I find somewhere here in this part. Now, the second answer is bound to be somewhere in the middle only because it is in order. So then, in one go, if I'm skimming through it, I'm glancing through the text, I'm not getting the answer, that's okay. I will stop when I get my third keyword. And then by the end of the answer, by the end of the question, I come back to it and look for the second one. And again, the idea is to go for the keywords just to identify where the answer is. But when I'm marking what the answer is, I look for the full sentence. And true, this is not basically something that comes to you in one go, which is why then you need the practice and you need to understand how to go about the answers and what is the approach, why the answer is what it is. And of course, depending on, your entire passage, there are certain other tricks, I'd say, or strategies which help you to get to your answer, which of course in detail is dealt with in the class. So with this, just as a sample to tell you, not really a simple thing, I'd recommend help for this as well. So just to, tell you that and to offer you that help, I've got this class, and again, reiterating the fact, in case you wish to, get better at it and get more tips specifically for each type of question, the overall text, recent exam question, authentic test papers, feel free to contact us. And of course, don't forget to use these discount codes in order to avail the discount and get to the classes. So I hope that you will be able to take the help, the amazing help that we are providing you. And with that thought, I am ending this session here. Keep watching this space for more webinars as well. And I am going to see you guys in the class. Thank you so much for attending today. See you.